So this sequence that we're about to do right now is one that I work with sometimes first thing in the morning if I'm feeling a bit sluggish or quite achy, I suppose. So working with our breathing and coordinating the movement of our arms, but just working quite slowly and carefully. So you don't have to have your yoga mat. As soon as you get out of bed, you can work with whatever's around you on the mat or the carpet. But otherwise, if you come onto the mat, and obviously you can be sitting down as well, if that's preferable for you, or on the edge of your bed. So we come to stand, and the soles of our feet, we just find that connection down through our feet. So that whole sense, sometimes I talk about it, the idea of being grounded, being connected, and feeling stable to the earth beneath. And just maybe start off by maybe lifting one leg and just shaking the ankle around a little bit. And then when you replace the foot back on the floor, feeling that connection down. And you can push a little bit maybe into the feet, base the big toe, little toe and heel. And then feeling that real sense of connection down through the right foot, lift up the left foot and just shake that foot around. So focus your gaze, because it's a bit of a balance as well. You can take the arms out if you like. And then just replace that foot on the floor. And we can repeat that again. It's quite a nice thing to do. So start off with the feet quite stable, balance, and then just allow your weight to just carefully transfer into the left side, and just lift up the right and shake the right ankle. And then bring the right foot down. And carefully allow the weight to transfer into the right, lift up the left foot, shake the ankle. And then when you replace that left foot down into the floor, there's a real feeling of stability, connection. Because we can never really have that sense of coming up away from the floor if we don't have that sense of connection into or beneath our feet. And then just letting the arms rest. And we're going to work with our breathing. When we next breathe in, we can take the arms in front. As you breathe in, take the arms up, and widen up. And as you breathe out, just let the arms go. Come back down. Breathing in, take the arms up, and you can cross the arms in the front. Cross the arms above your head if you like. And as you breathe out, take the arms down. And just twice more, breathing in. Letting the breath go. Arms come down, breathing in, taking the arms up. Breathing out, the arms come down. Then this time, when you take the arms up, you're breathing in. And as you take the arms down, take the arms behind you. Breathing in, take the arms up. And as you breathe out, let the arms come down behind you. And just two more there. And let the arms come down across behind you. And then this time, as the arms come down, just let the arms stay crossed behind you. Breathe as you need to. So the arms can just rest behind you. And just shrug your shoulders a few times, circling your shoulders, focusing your gaze down. And then just let go and just let the arms just rest. Roll your head or rock your head from side to side, turn your head from side to side. Any kind of movement with your neck, make sure your jaw is soft. And then we're just going to do another little thing with our breathing. So we're just going to come to stand as we were, feeling the ground beneath the soles of the feet. And this time when we breathe in, we're just going to take the arms halfway, so breathing in. And as you breathe out, you're going to push the arms away. Breathing in, take the arms up. And as you breathe out, take the arms down by your side. Breathing in, bring the arms halfway. Breathe out, push the hands away. Breathe in, take the arms up. And as you breathe out, take the arms down by your side. Breathing in, just go halfway. Breathe out, push the hands away. Breathe in, take the arms up. And as you breathe out, take the arms down. And just carry on. You can probably hear my dogs just scampering around. Just carrying on with your breath, with the coordinating movement of the arms. And you can slow it down, but really feeling how that is in your shoulders. And as you work this movement, feel the mobility in the back of your shoulders, the shoulder blade behind you. The dogs have just decided to come in. And maybe just twice more, slowing it right down. Really being connected with your breath. And it's the whole idea with yoga and all these kind of practice, Whatever is going on around us, it is fine, we don't have to change it. We just work with and concentrate on what we're doing right now. And then the next time your arms come down, just allowing your arms just to rest. Just let your arms just settle. And be aware of the weight of your arms, because it can make your arms feel quite heavy. And then still having that sense of stability beneath the soles of your feet. Take your attention to the outside edge of the right shoulder. That's my dog Buster there joining in. The outside edge of the right shoulder, and just imagine the outside edge of the right shoulder can come into contact with the outside edge, or be drawn towards the outside edge of the right ankle. And so just kind of little side bend, the outside edge of the right shoulder towards the outside edge of the right ankle. And the right arm just travels down, just as a consequence. And then you just come back up. Then take your attention to the outside edge of the left shoulder, the outside edge of the left ankle, and just allow those two parts to come just a little bit closer together. And then come back up. And just continue to breathe. So the right shoulder, outside edge, right ankle, outside edge. And the right arm just travels down. So it's almost as though you're between two panes of glass. And just continuing, just gently, softly. And then maybe perhaps the next time the right shoulder comes towards the right ankle, you can take the left arm up and maybe turn the gaze, look up towards the ceiling, and then lower. As the left shoulder, the outside edge comes towards the outside edge of the left ankle, maybe the right arm can lift and the gaze can turn to look up towards the ceiling, and then you lower and that brings you up. So maybe just twice or once more each side. And you can soften the knees, make sure you haven't locked the knees, and you can still feel the heels, you can still feel the base of the toes. And then when you come back to centre, just settle and just hear that feel, just that little gentle side bend. How does that feel in your body? So we're just going to now do a little rotation while we're standing. So soften your knees. And all we're going to do, we're going to take the right hand towards the left shoulder, and then the left hand towards the right shoulder, and just allow yourself to turn. So you're just softening the knees and you're just allowing yourself to turn. And maybe the free arm just swings a little bit further round behind you each time. And you can feel your gaze, or be aware that your gaze is following the line of the spine. So you're not leading with your head, we're mobilising the spine gently, carefully. Just easing into our body. And then just gently come back to centre, just easing carefully back. Soften the knees. Just lift up one heel at a time, just having a sense that you have that movement. You can lift the heels. And then when you're ready, we soften the knees again. So we always protect the lower back, especially if it is first thing in the morning. Like I said, perhaps we're using this as an early morning practice. Soften the knees. Lift up one heel at a time, and your gaze is towards your feet or towards your toes. Maybe you can take your hands on your knees, but you're not pushing into the knees. The knees are quite bent. The elbows are quite wide and the shoulders are quite wide. Allow the chin to be drawn in, so allows the crown of the head to come down towards the floor. Now as the heels lightly touch, now imagine you could lift the heels. Just imagine you could lift the heels. So you might get that sense coming up through the backs of the knees. Now your knees can be quite bent, I can't emphasise that enough. Maybe the hands can come to rest on the ankles, and the elbows are wide and the shoulders are wide. Soft knees, soft knees. Perhaps you can bring your hands towards the floor. Just kind of see if that's possible. So we're not necessarily trying to get our chest onto our thighs. We're just trying to allow the top of the head, really heavy head. We'll allow the crown of the head, the top of the head, to come towards the floor. Then imagine there's strings at the back of the waist, round spine. So round yourself back up to stand. So you restack the spine coming up. So we're going to go down again. So soft knees. Now when you take your gaze towards your feet, you can round the shoulders forward, and that will allow the lower back or the pelvis or the lumbar spine, that part there, to will round. So we're not trying to take any strain into the spine, we're just trying to work in a way that is, will work with our body, not against it. So the hands can rest on the knees, and the spine is rounded, and your gaze is towards your toes or towards the mat. Be aware of your breath in the back of your body, or in the front of your body, or wherever you feel it. You've got space underneath the armpits. Wide, wide ribs at the back of the body. Wide ribs at the side of the body. And really feeling your breath. So energising your body with your breathing, even though we're going into an inversion. And then when you're ready, allow the hands to come towards the ankle and the spine is rounded. Now, if possible, lift up one heel at a time. So we're just trying to ease into the lower back, especially if you do have, you know, discomfort in your lower back. So if you keep the knees bent, that will always help with any kind of strain you might feel there. Wide, wide shoulders, wide, wide shoulders. The area between the shoulder blades as wide as possible. When you allow the top of the head to hang, really feel as though that area between the shoulder blades can widen. And then carefully, carefully, the hands might come to the floor, the knees can bend, and just walk your hands forward. So you come into all fours. So you're in all fours. That's it. And then from here, shake off the wrists again. Shake the wrists again. And then we're just going to tuck the toes under and just rock the heels from side to side. So just massaging through the base of the toes. So we're just easing into the toes, because tightness in our feet, tightness in the toes affects the ankle, which affects the knee, which affects the rest of the body. So it's always a good idea just to feel what's going on in your toes. And then circle the heels. Circle the heels so you feel that movement through the knees. You're starting to, with these movements again, starting to massage the knees, because they can be quite achy. And all these kind of movements, these weight-bearing movements, are really good for joints. Stimulates the joints and sort of gives the possibility that we can increase the blood flow to those areas just by stimulating through movement. And then just circle the heels or the knees in the opposite direction. You're going to feel that through your hips. You might feel that through your shoulders. You might be feeling this through your wrists if you have problems with your wrists. So all these things we're working with. So obviously if it becomes too unbearable, we work out a way to change it. So maybe if our wrists are uncomfortable, we can come up onto our knuckles, or you can come onto your elbows. All these things, just kind of see what feels right for you. And then as you circle, now flatten the fronts of the feet and just see, is it possible to ease your hips back towards your heels? Just see, is there that possibility? So you just go to where you go. So now you're lengthening the thigh muscles as well as lengthening the lower back. You can make light fists with the hands to support the head, or the forehead might come onto the floor. But if it's first thing in the morning, you just kind of see where you are with it. Wherever you are, and whatever kind of position you've found, be aware of your breathing. Just take your attention to your breathing. So you're not trying to do anything particularly. You're just trying to be with whatever arises, whatever you're feeling. And then when you're ready, we're just going to come back into all fours. Just going to do some cat stretches, because they're always good things to do in the morning or any time really. So we're going to drop the top of the head, the crown of the head comes to the floor, and then between the shoulder blades at the back of the waist we round, round, round the spine. Breathing in, and then as you breathe out, just sink between the shoulder blades, sink at the back of the waist, and your gaze maybe lifts ever so slightly. On the in-breath, your gaze can come towards your navel and the spine can round. And then as you breathe out, your gaze can go forward, slightly up, you sink between the shoulders, you sink at the back of the waist. And just carry on. And if you'd rather breathe in a different way, then you decide. It's just a choice, a conscious choice. And we all have a habit. But ultimately, all we're trying to do is come into contact and connect to our body. And find ease, find movement. And then the next time, or when you're ready I should say, just come to a neutral spine, just come to neutral, so your gaze is between your hands, and then just lift up one knee at a time. We'll just see if we can do a careful down dog. So again, come onto the tips of the toes or tuck the toes under. Now take your attention to the back of the waist. Now just imagine there, that part there can be drawn up between the shoulder blades, a slight feeling of being drawn up. So you're not pushing into the hands at any moment there's a possibility that they could lift. And then when you're ready, with that feeling rounding slightly through the spine, lift your knees and just come up into down dog. Now really imagine the space underneath the armpits can widen. So imagine the space between the elbows can widen, between the shoulder blades can widen. Let go of the top of your head. Let go of your jaw. Let go of the neck. And with the feeling of coming up between the shoulder blades, can you allow the heels just to travel just a little bit further back? towards the floor. Soften the fronts of the knees because we're trying to open the back and lengthen the ankles, front and back. Wide, wide shoulders. And think of having wide space between the heels and around the heels and underneath the heels. The heels don't have to come towards the floor. They might, but if they do, don't push into the floor. Just allow the heels to lightly, lightly touch, as though at any moment they could bounce back. And then from here, consciously lift your heels to bring the knees down, to ease your hips back towards your heels. And just allow the forehead to rest on the floor. So just allowing your weight to be given down. And let's just go again. So come into all fours, come into all fours. So you tuck the toes under. One, really, you can maybe play around with it a little bit. If you push your elbows apart, just get that sense that your chest lowers slightly, slightly, and you have that space underneath the armpits. Now lengthen the arms back into columns, and try to keep that space underneath the armpits and space around the back of the shoulders as you lift your knees. Try not to change anything as you lift the knees off the floor. So you're not going forward, you're not going back, you're coming up. Now, between the shoulder blades, can we have that sense of widening and coming up as you allow your heels to go towards the floor? But really have that sense that the top of the head is moving forwards. We're trying to find length in our spine. We're trying to find ease in movement. That's all these movements are about. All yoga is around, based around. Trying to find suppleness, flexibility, ease. And then as the heels go towards the floor, really allow the space underneath and around the arms, underarms, armpits to widen. Free up your breath. Be aware of your breath and where do you feel your breath in your body. Really have that sense of coming up from the floor, not sinking down, back or forward. They're coming up to allow that whole sense of long, long spine. And then when you're ready, lift your heels to bring your knees down, to ease your hips back. Support your head if need be with your hand, or if your forehead comes onto the floor, allow the forehead to come down. Really be with and feel your breath. And where do you feel your breath? You might be feeling your breath in the back of your body, the sides of the body, or somewhere else completely. So it's just that idea that we train ourselves to notice, to be aware of our body as it is right now. And then we stop thinking about how we wish it should be or what we would like to be doing, but we just come into contact and we become grateful for what we can do right now, because you can do an awful lot. So now what we're going to do, we're just going to work into down dog again, and we're going to walk the hands back and we're going to come to stand. So we're in all fours. So in a simple way, with the knees bent, if you just walk one hand back at a time towards the knees, walking the hands back, walk the hands forward. Now as you do that, feel that movement through the shoulder. So as you lift, say, the left hand, you can feel the left shoulder come up. As you lift the right hand, you can feel the right shoulder come up. And then just kind of, so as you slow it down a little bit, so you're being quite stealthy. And when the hands come onto the floor, when they touch the floor, it's quite quiet. So you're stealthily moving your hands. We're going to try to do that when we're in down dog. So when you're ready, just coming back into all fours, so the wrists are more or less underneath the shoulders. And we're just going to carefully lift our knees and come up into down dog. Wide shoulders, wide space between the elbows, wide space around the armpits, all those kind of things. The heels might be down or they might not. You can bend your knees if you like, that's fine. Then ever so carefully, ever so stealthily, can you bring one hand back at a time. Walk the hands back towards the feet. Let go of the neck, let go of the head, and then walk forward. Just see how that is. You're stealthily, quietly placing your hands. And you can move the whole body, and the knees can be quite bent, so you're just mobilising yourself. It's quite a big movement, but you're mobilising yourself as carefully and gently as possible. And if this is impossible for you, you can always have your hands on a chair and walk your feet up and back. And then maybe once more, walking the hands stealthily, feeling the back of your bodies or feeling the shoulders. And the next time you walk your hands back towards your feet, the knees are quite soft, let go of the top of the head, let go of the neck, round spine, the knees are quite bent, rounded spine. Imagine the area at the back of the waist being drawn up, round spine, and that's what brings you up to stand. So then you're up. So from here again, find the soles of your feet, that connection through the base of your feet, and just orientate yourself sort of for as long as you need to really, because you can obviously always turn the recording off. And then when you're ready, you just step the right foot forward. You step the right foot forward. Place the right hand on the right thigh, the left hand rests on the collarbone. Now this part, the collarbone, is coming up as far away from the right thigh as possible. So when you start to send that right knee forward, from inside underneath the ribs, right through to the top of the head, you're coming up. So that whole sense of the spine, the collarbone, the upper part of the chest is coming as far away from that front knee as possible. So move the shoulders up and down a few times, and when, if it's okay, you can take the hands on the top of your head. You're just allowing the weight of the head to rest down through to the neck, back through to that back heel. And as that front knee moves forward a little bit more, from inside underneath the ribs, can you feel as though you're coming up to the top of the head? Allow the weight of the elbows to be given to the shoulders, and if possible, you take the arms up. And you just feel that connection from the fingertips above, to the shoulders, to the spine, to the back heel, to the front knee, to the front foot. So now, if possible, when you take that right arm forward, you can feel nothing's changing in your spine, but from deep inside underneath the ribs, we can feel the turn as we take the left arm behind, and your gaze can still be facing forward as you go into Warrior Two. So now we're just going to go into a sort of little bit of forward bend and twist. So from here, as that left arm goes up, the right hand can just rest on that right knee, and the gaze maybe can turn to look up towards the ceiling. Now you can stay here if you like, or with that feeling of coming forward through the spine, forward through the top of the head, the right arm might go a little, or the right hand might go a little bit lower, but try not to reach. Try not to reach. We're trying to turn through the centre of the spine, and then come back up, forward, and go back to where you started, so you step back. Right, so then we do the same on the other side. So we're going to step the left foot forward. The left foot goes forward, the left hand can rest on that left thigh, the right hand can rest on the collarbones. Lift the back heel up and down a few times, just give a sense of how it feels. And as the back heel goes down, can you send that front knee forward? So from the back heel, you send the front knee forward, so we're connecting to the whole of our body. Because if there's one part that's a bit achy or doesn't feel quite right, just knowing that there's whole other parts of your body that are working absolutely beautifully. So we always have that sense of all of us, not just one part. So the front knee moves forward. Have the hands on the centre of the spine, front of the body. Maybe place the hands on the centre of the spine, back of the body. And as the front knee moves forward, where the hands are resting behind you, come back towards. So you're coming away from that front knee. And now take the hands on the back of the head. And as the front knee moves forward, let the back of the head rest into the hands. So you maybe feel that slight back bend. And if you take your gaze up slightly, you might feel then the lower hips or the pelvis starts to move forward slightly, so the knee starts to move forward. And if you take the arms up, your gaze is still up. So you find that back bend without kind of pushing. And the weight of the arms rests back towards the shoulders. So now when you're ready, you bring the gaze forward, the arms can come up, the left arm can go forward, and when the right arm goes behind you from inside underneath the ribs, you turn. So your gaze is forward. Always that feeling of coming up, away from the floor. So now keep that sense of coming up as you start to move forward. So your left shoulder is moving towards the left knee, but the upper part of the spine is coming as far away from the thighs as possible. And the left hand goes where it goes, and maybe you can turn the gaze to look up towards the ceiling. Make sure you're breathing, and then when you're ready, come back up, come back to where you started, and then step back. My dog's really snoring. So I'm trying to do a yoga practice to wake you up, and he's fallen asleep. Right, so we'll go one more time. So equalise the weight through the feet, and we're going to step forward with the right foot. So when you're ready, we step the right foot forward. Now if you feel a bit off balance, wider. So the right foot is not in front of the left, it's out at least hip width apart. So, and the same as when we started the practice, you can feel the base, the big toes, little toes, and the heels. So let's start with the hands on the back of the lower spine, lumbar spine again. So really have that sense of resting down through the lower spine, because below the level of the waist, rest down towards the floor. Lift the back heel up and down a few times, and as the back heel goes down, the front knee moves forward. Imagine the back of your head being quite heavy to allow the shoulders to rest, and your gaze maybe can go up. And then you might start to feel that slight kind of back bend without kind of forcing anything. You can, if you like, take the arms up and back a little bit, but without forcing anything. Feel the connection down through the feet. And then when you come back up, the right arm goes forward, left one goes behind. You can turn your gaze to look behind if you like, because you can also turn your gaze forward. If it's too much with the left hand, you can just let the left hand rest on the back of your body. I'll do that. And then when you're ready, from inside underneath the ribs, you start to move forward, forward, forward. And the right arm goes down. The right hand might just touch the knee or the thigh, or it might go a little bit lower, or it might go towards the floor. But you're not trying to reach anything. You're not trying to change or grasp anything. We're working with where we are. The left arm might come up, or it might not. And then come back up. When you're ready, step back or forward, make sure you're breathing. So the last time, on the left, step the left foot forward, so you've got space between the feet as well as a bit of length. Lift the back heel up and down a few times. Then as the back heel goes down, the front knee moves forward. So you've got space between that back heel, the front heel, space underneath the knee. And sometimes I work with the idea that we try to imagine the space at the back of the left knee becoming as wide and open as possible to allow the front knee to travel a little bit further. So really be attentive to all these feelings and all these changes, subtle shifts that go on in your body. Your gaze can be forward, or you can take the gaze slightly up, and you can allow the arms to rest back. But always have that sense that the arms rest back in towards the shoulders, and then you make sure you breathe. And then when you're ready, as the left arm travels forward, the spine can start to come up. And as the right arm goes behind you, the spine can start to come up, because the turn is already kind of sorting itself out. So now, if you like, from inside underneath the ribs, we move forward, 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 keeping a lot of space in the front of those hips. And the left arm goes down, as the right one goes up, or if it's too much, you just let the right arm rest behind. And you just turn the gaze. Make sure you're breathing, and then when you're ready, come back up, forward, and either step up or step back, whichever feels doable for you. And then from here, we're just going to stand just as we started. Just come back to where you started. So soles of feet flat to the floor. You can feel the outside edges, the inside edges of the feet. The hands just rest down by your side, and you make sure you're breathing. And then just one more little side bend. So the outside edge of the right shoulder sinks towards the outside edge of the right ankle. Maybe turn the gaze to look up. Maybe take the left arm up. Breathe in. And as you breathe out, lower the arm. Lift the spine. Breathe in between. Outside edge of the left shoulder sinks towards the outside edge of the left ankle. Take the arm up. Right arm up. Breathe in. And as you breathe out, lower. And then just come back to centre. Focus your gaze, or close your eyes if it's possible to close your eyes, and just feel the echoes of those movements in your body. Forward bends, side bends, rotations, back bends. So you've done full range of movement of your spine, just with that simple practice. And now to just round ourselves off, we're just going to come back onto our mat, or whatever you're using, and we're just going to turn the gaze down towards the floor, round the shoulders. The hands can rest on the thighs, or the hands can rest on the knees. Wide elbows, allow the top of the head to hang. Really be aware of the breath in the back of your body as you bring your hands towards your ankles, and your knees are quite soft. And just using that stealthy kind of movement that we did before, hand hands lightly touch. Your spine is rounded, round spine. Really allow the weight of the head to rest, because that will round, that will encourage the lower spine to round. If your neck is heavy, if your neck is long. And then just walk your hands forward, just till you feel doable to come into child's pose. And you can support your head with your hands, or your hands can be down by your side or in front, just kind of deciding. So just another choice. And through the rest of the day, through the course of our lives, we make so many choices. And all we're trying to do is actively engage in the choices that we make. So being with your breath, and then just coming up when you're ready, and just turning, just for a few minutes to work with that breath, and coming down onto your back with the soles of your feet flat to the floor. And just start with your arms down by your side, palms facing down. And just allowing the weight of your body to be given to the floor. Just knowing for the rest of the day, you know, we're going to be upright, we're going to be sitting, we're going to be making choices, decisions. So for now, just let go, let your body be given. Body given to the floor. And then the next time you breathe in, just take your arms up. And as you breathe out, take your arms back down to your side. In breath takes the arms up. Out breath, arms down by your side. In breath, the arms come up. And this time all the way overhead, breathing in. And as you breathe out, bringing the arms all the way back down to your side. In breath, arms go up, all the way overhead. If possible, the elbows can be quite bent. And as you breathe out, bring the arms back down to your side. And just twice more. And then when the arms come back down, just by your sides, just resting, breathing. And then we're just going to take our attention to our right knee. We're going to draw the right knee in. Take the hands underneath the knee. Breathe in. And as you breathe out, just draw the forehead towards the knee. Breathe in, lower the head, let go of the knee, and just bring the foot back on the floor. Breathe as you need to. Draw the left knee in. Breathe in, hands underneath the knee. And as you breathe out, draw the knee in, draw the forehead towards the knee. Breathe in, lower the head, let go of the knee, bring the foot back down. Breathe as you need to in between. One more time each side, we're going to draw the right knee in. Breathe in, hands underneath the knee. And as you breathe out, ease the knee down, draw the forehead towards the knee. Breathe in, lower the head, let go. Breathe as you need to as you bring the foot back on the floor. Breathe, breathe. Draw the left knee in. Breathe in, hands underneath the knee. And as you breathe out, ease the knee down, draw the forehead towards the knee. Breathe in, lower the head, let go of the knee. Breathe as you need to, you bring the foot back down. Just resting there for a few moments, drop your knees to the right. Bring the knees back up, drop your knees to the left. And then just come back to centre. Just settle, just for a few moments, it just takes a few moments, a glimpse of quietness. Just lifting up one shoulder at a time, move the heels, and just again, find a place in between, balancing in between where you can settle. Shoulders either side of the spine, hips either side. Being where the connection down through your feet. Coming into contact with your breath. And maybe that feeling of rest or quietness that is inside you now. And just being aware that that feeling, that sense, is within you and can stay within you for the rest of the day. So whatever you're doing, whatever happens, whatever occurs, you have that ability to be still, to be quiet. Your breath is with you, your body is just the same. So So coming over onto your side when you're ready and just coming to sit up, taking your time. Just coming back to the sitting position and knowing where you are and just letting your gaze drift around a little bit and just orientating yourself back to this place, to your place and to the rest of the day. So I hope you have a wonderful day and thank you for joining me and for practicing yoga with me. Thank you.